One of the most common questions that I get from business owners is, how do I stand out in a crowded market? So you went out and engineered and created a product that you feel is better than what is out there in the market. It's faster, it's more affordable, it has more features. But then when you go out and start to create your messaging or start to do your marketing, you very quickly find out that everyone has claimed those specifications. Everyone has claimed the buzzwords. It all sounds the same. Even though you know that you did the research and created a really good product, you're finding that it all sounds the same. And so you're asking yourself, how do I sell? How do I convey the message that my product is the one that customers should buy? And so if you feel this way, there's a chance that you're focusing too much on the surface level features of your product. You're leaning too much into the logical and rational reasons that your customers should buy your product. That is the technical specifications, the benefits, the features, the really hard, logical, rational facts that you, as the designer of the product, would make you think that the customer should buy your product. Instead of focusing on the emotional, psychological, and other unique differentiators of your product. And these are some of the things that actually drive customers to buy. One of the things that you can do is to identify the emotional benefits of your products. And not just the functional ones. So take some time to think about, for example, if you manufacture wood glue. So besides the fact that it is strong and it lasts long and it's good quality and all of those functional benefits of the product, think about what the emotional benefits of those products. And so you can say something like, the pieces that you create using our wood glue are going to outlast the effects of your kids running up and down, are going to outlast the effects of your dog pushing it off of the counter. Things that people emotionally connect with are going to sell your product more than the actual functional benefits of the product. Remember that most of the time people don't buy the best products, and they don't buy the cheapest ones either. People buy the products that make them feel good about themselves. So find that thing about your product that's going to make people feel more confident, feel like reliable people, feel like better parents. Find the thing that connects emotionally with your customer and use that to market your product. Another thing that you can lean into that will help you stand out is the subtle differences in your product that create psychological value. These are things that create a perceived difference between your product and another similar product in the market. Say, for example, you have a product that is a bit heavier than what is currently in the market. It is known that products that feel heavier and sturdier tend to be perceived of higher value and therefore higher quality. Also, think about things that are made of natural materials. They tend to be perceived as better in terms of quality. They tend to be perceived as healthier for us. They also tend to be perceived as having higher value. So lean into those subtle things about your product that tend to have more enhanced psychological or perceived value that you can use to then stand out from your competition. Things that are made of more sustainable materials too. If they're better for the environment, they tend to be perceived as more expensive, as things that will last longer than things that, for example, made of plastic. So those subtle differences that stand out from just the functional benefit of the product, they tend to create psychological effects, and you want to lean into that when you start marketing your products. All right. Another thing that you can do that will help you stand out in a crowded marketplace is to reframe the problem. While other manufacturers or producers of products are leaning in on maybe durability, quality, affordability, and things like that, you want to reframe the problem and frame your product as solving something else. So for example, you can say our product is easier on people that have mobility problems. Our lid is easier to open for people that have arthritis or for people that struggle with opening lids. Find the angle of your product that solves a different problem from what everyone else is claiming. Even though it still does those things, it is still a durable product, it is still a strong product. Find what else you can use to reframe your product that helps it stand out. If it is better around animals and children, that's another emotional trigger. If it is something that is more convenient, therefore you don't spend too much time in a bent position, that means it is better for your body. That's something that you can lean into. If it has been designed in such a way that it gives you better posture, right? That is something that you can lean into. Find the thing about your product that solves a different problem that everyone else is claiming, and then use that to frame your product as different. Another thing that you can do is to use storytelling. You can produce the exact same product as someone else, but the way that you tell the story behind it is going to prompt people to buy your product. This has been researched and tested multiple ways, multiple times, and it always comes out to be a winner. And especially if the product was developed from a life experience of the founder of the company or the engineer that developed it. If there is a story there, lean into that story, because again, you want to connect with people on an emotional level, and human stories really connect with other people. And so if you can find an angle where you can tell a story to differentiate your product from the others, people are really going to connect with that, and people are really going to be to want to buy your product. Another way to differentiate your products is to tell people why. Sharing the philosophy behind your company, your mission, your product, your values is really going to connect with a lot of people, some of whom are not even aware of your brand. One of the brands that really stands out for me in this example is Ben & Jerry's ice cream. They are very committed to social justice, and they talk about it often, and they use that to market their products. They're very vocal when it comes to issues that are impacting the community, when it comes to social justice, and people are drawn to their product just because of that mission. They share the why behind their business. They share the why behind their values and the things that they believe in. And people that don't even know their products, or people that are not even drawn to their products, are going to buy just because of that mission. So don't be afraid to share the mission, the why behind your product, even when sometimes it's really not related. Because if you think about it, social justice and ice cream, maybe not exactly related, but because they're so passionate about it and they share it so often, people make that connection, and people choose their product over other products. Last but not least, another way that you can stand out is to speak directly to a particular segment of your buyers, or to speak directly to a niche in your industry. I can think of certain brands that have really leaned into a particular audience and made products specifically marketed to them. Even though the products can be used by other people, they have created marketing around a particular audience to make sure that they capture the biggest share of that audience. I can think of the Dollar Shave Club. They speak directly to men that do not want to pay too much for razors. And when you look at their marketing and their advertising, they have isolated a particular person, and they want to get the biggest share of the market for that particular audience. So think about what it is in your product specifications that you can carve out for a specific audience or a specific niche or a segment of your market, and really direct your messaging to that segment. And that way you get to stand out from other products that are doing very generic, very broad, and like trying to talk to everyone at the same time. Your product stands out when this particular customer comes around, and they will want to buy it. And so as you can see, standing out in a crowded market marketplace is less about having the loudest message and more about having the most resonant one. By diving deeper and brainstorming and finding these unique differentiators of your product, you can create a message that is very effective and a message that really stands out and sells your product. All right, that is all for today. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.